amazing? Flat tummy, yet no six pack? Of course I do, but I know some persons will say I'm too fat, too plumpy. Of course not slim. That brings me to my topic for today's show, accepting the way you look. There are a couple of persons today that basically they might have a challenge with the way they look. Some they were given birth to like that, and others, one circumstance led to another, and they are currently the way they are. To fit into the last one, I have an amazing guest with me in the house. My guest for today is no other person but a one-time manager of Asheweb's FM, CEO, Keep Fit Media, and the founder of Gafa TV. Oh, I will not take last on this. It's no other person but Mr. El-Ngugar Agav. I got the name.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. Amazing.
Of course I did. From what I have gathered, you were not looking like this before now. So,
Yeah. Yes, of course.
okay, so can we hear the story behind it?
I used to be not on the tall side, but a little bit taller. So I would say I was average height. But right now, I belong to the short category. And I used to have straight legs, so to speak. But right now, I'm more like I have ball legs. And like you said, I wasn't born that way. For me, it was an accident. I was involved in a ghastly motor accident back in 2016 that saw my two legs at the femur here. My two femurs were broken, and my right arm was broken. But to God be the glory, I didn't die at the scene, even though so many people died. I think about 6 people died at the spot. So that's how I came about being this way. After the whole healing from the fracture, my legs were no longer straight, and that's about how I became ball-legged and a little bit shorter than I was before.
No, right.
Yes.
Wow, that's quite a touching story. So this happened around 2016.
Yes, July 26th, 2016. Yes.
Wow,
I was coming back from Lagos, and the accident happened around between Ore and Benin.
Okay, so how long did it take for you to recover?
Less than a year.
Less than a year, you were up on your feet.
Yes, but by the time I got up, sincerely speaking, my shape was altered. My movement could not be steady. I was, staccato kind of movement.
That fancy moment was
it was gone. It was far
okay.
gone. Yes.
Wow. I've never heard like being close to someone telling me a life story like this, and my mood is actually swinging to something else. But let's keep up. Okay, so during your recovery process,
yes,
were there any psychological effects?
Yes, of course. First, what happened was that I became immobile. I could not move. So the whole trauma of being a grown man, and you can't have your privacy, like you want to ease yourself, you want to defecate, you have to do it where you're lying there, and then people have to come and take care of you and all that. It was damaging to my personality because it made me feel like, I'm exposed. So that was the first battle I had. And then when I got up from that place and had to start using the toilet by myself, I was unable to look at myself in the mirror, because when I stare at myself in the mirror, the guy I'm seeing in the mirror is far different from the guy that I used to see in the mirror. And it was kind of difficult for me to come to terms with the shape I had taken. There was a psychological battle I had to fight, because I became a little bit shorter, not a little bit, up to 3-4 inches shorter than I was. And you step into a place and they are calling short people and they call you a short guy also, and things like that. But
and then probably you might be first on the line.
Yes, of course. Of course. And maybe the people you used to be taller than, especially like the girls, maybe you have your classmates around and those whom you used to be taller than suddenly are taller than
There's
you.
an
Yeah,
automatic switch.
yeah, there was. Yes, and there's this part of people when people look at you, some just look at you like you're pitiable,
Oh, I
and
think
you're like,
that's the worst part of
it
it.
was bad. See, I didn't want people to have pity on me. I wanted people to just interact with me and have a feel of what I'm going through, and yes, sympathize, yes, understood, but don't pity me,
Well,
you know.
you know,
So it was damaging actually.
of course, you are a fighter. Looking at what we have discussed thus far, there is an inner self that could not give up, and you
Yes.
fought through. So maybe in just few words, we might want to know how you could overcome all these things you faced around you, and then come to terms with your present looks.
First, I have to tell myself the truth that even if I feel bad about how I look now, it ain't going to change anything. It's not going to change anything at all. So, why don't you accept the way you look now and carry on with your life? That was the thought process that began. And when immediately I put my heart to overcoming this, I started noticing that people didn't really care about how tall or how short I looked. Whenever I was involved or I'm involved in an interaction with somebody, be it a business or whatever, I'm offering services to people. The first thing that they are looking at is whether or not I can deliver on what it said that I would deliver. Not whether I'm tall or dark, or whether I'm too dark or too short or too slim or whatever. They didn't care about that. And then I noticed also that I was actually the one that was looking at myself that way, not people. People didn't really pay attention to the way I looked.
Okay, to the new look.
No, they didn't pay attention to it.
Right.
And then I stumbled on a material that I was reading about the law of attraction. That it's what you think about yourself that you will attract. So I started telling myself, sometimes I even have to speak it out and tell myself that, man, you're looking good.
It helps.
Yes, it does. It does. I believe you can relate to that.
I do.
You see, so I started telling myself that you look fabulous, you look fantastic. And guess what happened? People started saying, oh my God, I love your athletic look. Were you a footballer?
Oh my God, I'm fainting here already.
And I'll be like, what? So this thing doesn't really look as bad as I
Oh,
thought.
you were the one thinking that.
Yes, that's the thing. So I believe that the two things that really helped me overcome is the fact that, number one, people were not really concerned about how I looked in their dealings with me. Okay, the people that matter. Of course, I'm saying this, people may think that there are people who will not gainsay, people who will not mock you. There are. Certain people will mock you. But the question is, what is the value of the people mocking you? If you check the people who have so much time to think about the way you look, for them to mock you or condescend, are people who cannot offer anything to you.
You're right.
That's the truth. Someone who is bringing a contract for you to handle but the person cares more about what you can do. Not about, it doesn't give a damn whether you're tall or short. So it helped me a lot. And the fact that yes, I have amazing people around me. My wife, when I met her after the accident, and she didn't find any problem with the way I looked. And I was like, wow, so even the ladies don't really have a problem with my new shape. So thank God.
But funny enough, she did not meet the old you. She was meeting the new you. So it's good she accepted.
Yeah.
We'll be going for a commercial break. And when we're back from the break, our guest will tell us what this experience taught him.
Every morning, I make sure my family enjoys a healthy breakfast of cereal mixed meal made from sprouted soybeans, whole grains, carrots, and other nutritious ingredients. It is rich in antioxidants, essential minerals, and vitamins for a healthy heart, strong immune system, and mental development in children. Cereal mixed meal is also good for people on special diet for diabetes or high blood pressure.
Cereal mixed meal, completely natural, highly nutritious.
Welcome back from the break. If you are just joining us, you're watching Fix It Show on Gafa TV. So, sir, what does this whole experience teach you?
Wow, this experience taught me a lot. It taught me empathy. I momentarily became what they call disabled. So I had a kind of first-hand experience of what disabled people, especially the lame, go through. Those in wheelchairs, those walking on crutches. So I experienced firsthand. Well, I have a friend who is more like a brother to me that is on crutches, I think since when he was 5 years old. And my office used to be on a story building. And whenever he came around, it was difficult for him to access the place. So when I went through this experience, it taught me that even if I'm building a property, you can attest our present offices. Our present office is not a story building again. Now, even if we are building, we get to that stage where we are building a story building, we're going to have some of the offices, the key offices downstairs, so that those who can't climb stairs can access these places. And I also understood that these people whom we consider disabled, they don't really need us pitying them. They need us to treat them like they are normal, just like us. They are normal people. They have brains like people who are able-bodied. They can do things. So instead of pitying them, rather understand with them and appreciate the good soul inside of them. So that is one of the major things that experience taught me. And then, of course, it taught me that I should be careful how I talk to people or talk about people, especially when it has to do with describing them. You know, it's easy for us out there to just say, you have a big nose. Man, you big oh. These things have a way of affecting people. Now, it may be someone who hasn't overcome these things, all right? And that thing is going to injure the person's sensibilities. It may hurt the person so badly that the person may lose self-esteem. So instead of pointing out what you think is not so unique about that person, how about you point out the ones that are so unique?
They will say that you are fat, it's okay, but go burn that shit. You know, people saying all those kind of things, they feel awkward.
You know what many people don't realize is that when we were being formed in our mother's wombs, we did not have a say what size of nose we would have, what body shape we would have. So it's just providence. God made you that way. It has nothing to do with you liking it or not. So you have no control over that. So you shouldn't be, if you really have something in your head, you should not be mocking someone for looking the way they look.
Wow.
I wasn't born with ball legs. Now I have ball legs. Okay?
And it seems like they suit you.
Thank God they suit me. Now, you that is mocking someone, you don't know when you will have a problem that will lead you into a condition that is worse than the one you're mocking. So come on, let's appreciate everybody and share some love.
I needed to take a deep breath. Of course, I needed to. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much for giving me this privilege to share my experience.
Of course, anytime, sir.
Thank you.
With this, we have come to the end of today's episode on the Fix It Show. You know, it's pretty interesting, but it's a web show, so we have to be time conscious. To keep up with the show, you can follow us on our streaming channels on Facebook and YouTube, Gafa TV. My name is Anne Okonyi, your host.